What's up, nerds and nerdettes and wee little nerdlings all? It's your buddy Big Johnny G for Two Gun Pixie presents Legendary Gaming. Monday is here. For me, anyway. I don't know what day you're watching this, but happy day, whatever day it is. Happy day to you, my friends. This brings us to another Monday, and I enjoy talking about whatever's on my mind concerning tabletop gaming and role-playing games, and that's exactly what's going on today. But it goes a little bit deeper than that. Over the years, I've noticed that some of the best and also some of the most interesting board games I've come across are based on novels. Some of them you think are based on the movie, but when you take a closer look, a tighter examination of that game, you'll see that it actually is more closely aligned to the book. But you know what? That's splitting hairs. We're not here to do that. Am I a barber? I don't think so. So why don't we talk about some of the great board games that we have out in the market now that are based on novels, and then I have a few ideas of novels that I don't think have ever been translated to a board game. So why don't you join me down at the table, my friends, and we'll talk about that. Where do board game inspirations come from? They come from somewhere. A lot of them I seem to think come from mythology, or basic concepts from mythology, if not actual mythological stories themselves, from the monsters to the heroes, and we see this represented in video games as well. It is a very popular genre to pull from, whether you're pulling the entirety or just core seed concepts from. We also see a lot of board games come into existence because of television shows or movies. They get turned into this tabletop adventure or that one or another. And to one degree or another, I think all of these board games, mythology, fantasy, television, movies, they all seem to work at least to some degree or another in most cases. Some have been abject failures, but there's usually something worthwhile in some game. Where do these ideas all come from? Is this it? Is this all of them? No. Actually, some very good, even great board game ideas over the years have come to us from novels. Now, sometimes it might get a little tricky because a novel gets turned into a movie or a TV show and then a game is made of it. But in a lot of cases, when you take a deep look, you're going to see that the material that they're pulling from to make a game usually includes a lot of stuff that you find in the novels and the books, as opposed to things that were just in the movie or the TV show. And that makes a big difference, because then it really is based on the book and not just a movie, flash in the pan, fast, throw it out there, make some money off of it. There have been some really good board games, I think, that have been based on books. I really want to know what some of yours are, because I want to play them, or at least look into them if I don't play them. But I know for me, some of the most fun titles that have come from books include games like The Fury of Dracula, Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit, Jaws, Game of Thrones, The Princess Bride, Sherlock Holmes, the collected work of Lovecraft and the Mythos, Dune, Robinson Crusoe, Harry Potter, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, The Godfather, hell, even been board games based on choose-your-own-adventure books. Okay, so maybe not all of them that I've listed are award-winning titles, but they are all well-received books. Many of them did win titles. I don't know what Choose Your Own Adventure has won. But yes, here we are. These great games, some of them I've played here live on camera, others I've played elsewhere. Some of them I haven't had the chance to play yet, but I'm really looking forward to it, to see that translation and how well it was done. So I've been thinking to myself, is there more? Could there possibly be more titles, books that we can take and turn into board games? And the answer is probably a lot more than I think. So why don't we take a look? I had a couple of ideas I just want to throw out there because I think it's fun. So if you have any ideas of a favorite book of yours that you would love to see turned into a board game, and maybe one-line explanation of what that game would be, a quick note, a bullet point, then please put it in the comment. Let us all know. Now, one of my favorite books of all time, going all the way back to childhood, I made my dad take it out of the library almost every weekend. I often wondered why he just didn't buy it for me, and later on in life somebody pointed out to me he probably enjoyed going to the library with you, and that's why he didn't get it for you. That makes a lot of sense. And that book is Where the Wild Things Are. It's such a small book, a tiny book, a short book, so few words in it. How did they make an hour-and-a-half movie? I don't know. But I would like to see a board game on this. Unfortunately, the only idea I have for it, I'm kind of aged out of. I think that a sort of memory game, a child memory game, like Who Goes There kind of thing, just one of those kind of games would work really well using the imagery, the drawings, and the characters from Where the Wild Things Are. I think that would be a great game for little kids. Of course, like I said, I kind of aged myself out of that. But there are others. There are other books more age appropriate for adults, I think, that can be good games. I really enjoy hidden trader, hidden movement games, and to see a new one might be a little bit overdone, unless it's done with the right core seed, you could say. And what I'm thinking of is the Invisible Man. I know the Invisible Man is a villain you can face in Horrified. But to make an entire game based on the Invisible Man, his invisible movements, and not even knowing who he is, maybe. Take that element out of the book. Right? You don't know who he is. Or keep it in, but you got to prove it. Very interesting. I would really like to see an Invisible Man game. Agamemnon, which by Osprey Games, which is a game where the Greeks and the Trojans are fighting the war. But there's not a lot really on it. And at its core, I think the Iliad is just dying, begging to be turned into a miniatures war game. Why hasn't it been? And not only do you get to keep everything from, quote, history that we know that allegedly happened through Homer's epic poem, but maybe throw in a few other Greek elements in there too from mythology, just to give the game a chance to run different from what we understand the story to have been and how it originally allegedly unfolded. And that leads into the sequel. Oh, is that the first sequel in history? And that's the Odyssey, where we find Odysseus after the Trojan War trying to get back home, also known as Ulysses. Odysseus, Ulysses, depending on the translation and who taught this to you. And to see this as an overland and an oversea adventure game, a fantasy-based game of exploration, that is what it is, I think, at its core. If you're going to turn it into a board game, somebody should. I don't have the mind to do it. I don't have the technology. I don't have the experience. I don't have the name to do it. But there are others out there, and that would be a great idea. Now, for a one versus all game, yeah, one definitely screamed out at me. One book definitely leapt out at me. I don't know if there's been board games based on this or the movie version of it. I haven't seen. I looked real quick, didn't say anything, and that's The Exorcist. Oh yeah. Turn this into a one versus all game where the priest and the priest's side, his assistant and the mother or whoever else is there, versus the possessed. And if they don't win, then that little kid is lost forever. How sad. But yeah, I could definitely see that as a one versus all game. It would do pretty good. Well, what novels have you read that you think would make a fun board game? What are the titles? And just give me one line description of how you think it would run. And put it down in the comments. Let's all have a little fun with this. All right, thank you for checking out this mad line of thought I had. I'm your buddy Big John and G. The Two Gun Pixel presents Legendary Gaming, and